everybody, welcome to the Maddie and Josh show here on Spotify and everywhere else you get your podcast. I'm joined by
me, Josh.
And I'm Maddie, and today is our first episode, aka the pilot episode. So there might be a few mistakes here and there, but we're currently working out all the little kinks in the show to make the best experience for you. You could always let us know how you feel about the show by emailing us you'll see the email in the description. So without any further ado, let's get started. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, man. Well, first of all, I need to preface, we are basically blind sharing our topics. So that means like Josh will have a topic that I never heard of, and I'll have topics that he never heard of, and we're gonna kind of surprise each other, take turns, and we're going to talk about different technology news and a lot of different stuff that really interests us and we want to see here on the show. So, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Alrighty. So, my first topic is quite recently there was this was kind of huge, but there was a possible cyber attack on multiple cellular providers, such as Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all the major providers, on nationwide outages across North America. And there was about an estimated 50,000 users without service. Did you hear about that, Matt?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty crazy, honestly. And they never really published the actual reasoning behind it. They said it was a cyber attack, but they don't know what source that cyber attack was made by.
Yeah, kind of a crazy thing to happen. I think I saw another thing online that said I think it was AT&T giving some compensation to their users.
Oh God, how much was it?
Like $50 or something.
Really? From my postings, I saw it was like only $5. So. Oh
yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Yeah, T-Mobile's not the most generous conglomerate, is it?
No, none of them are.
They can really care less about us, you know. But
yeah.
I did hear that Verizon and all these other networks were being pulled into the drama. But what I heard is the reason why Verizon users were reporting outages is because they were trying to call AT&T users, and they reported that their network was down when in reality it was AT&T. So I'm sure there was some spotty incidents, but in essence, a lot of these outages were caused by T-Mobile. And I think it's pretty crazy that T-Mobile, with such a huge infrastructure, let this cyber attack sneak through their system.
Yeah, man. They got to get some better security. That'll damage their reputation, I would hope.
I mean, hey, who uses AT&T anyway?
Not me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I use, one of Verizon's parent companies, but it's okay, you know. I feel like when it comes to cellular coverage, it kind of still sucks in a lot of areas, you know, unless you live in like New York or Philly. But a lot of areas it's still a lot like of issues, you know, the internet speed's kind of bad. And I know this was on the topic list, but like 5G, I don't even know what to think about it. I mean, is it really faster than 4G? It depends where you live, I think.
It is, to be honest. And did you know that if you stand in front of a 5G cell tower, your vision gets blurry?
What?
Yeah, you can't even like see things straight because your vision gets blurry.
And they haven't banned it yet?
No, 5G towers are like not the greatest thing to be near. Like that's why they put them out in like open fields, because they're not great to stand around. There's like whole articles online on the poor Uh,
Yeah, to poor communities, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really unfortunate. I mean, a lot of the more less privileged areas end up getting a lot of the impact from these huge companies who just want to profitize off of their networks and cellular.
yeah.
And who knows, in the next 10 to 15 years, there might be allegations of cancer and stuff, caused by these towers.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do about it, though?
Not much you can do. The fast speeds are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in other news, I have a topic I wanted to share. It actually just came out today. It was leaked. So,
Oh,
the Apple Vision Pro, right?
yeah.
You know that little piece of technology that everybody's raving about?
Yeah.
Well, the components in that thing cost guess how much? And by the way, the unit's 3,500. So,
Yeah.
guess how much money the parts to make it was?
The total.
Yeah,
Um,
without looking it up.
I I think I saw something. It's like less than 300.
Really? Well, it's
Yeah.
it's higher than that, but
What?
Apple
Uh,
spent $1,542 producing the unit. That's quite a substantial number coming from
like
Apple.
it's like a 200% profit.
Yeah, they're still basically doubling their money. But I mean, keep in mind that price doesn't include the 10 plus years of research and development that Apple did. you know
Mm,
so all the research and development, the shipping, the employee training, and it also doesn't include the cost to assemble. So I mean, we could probably figure though that the assembly cost isn't that much because they just have a whole bunch of underpaid Chinese workers. So I'm sure it didn't cost that much extra to assemble, but in terms of research and development, they probably spent a pretty penny, developing the technology for the past few years, and
yeah.
a lot of millions of dollars they need to recoup. But in total, I was quite surprised to see this leak. And guess what the most expensive part of the Apple Vision Pro is?
Uh, the earpiece? I don't know.
Well, it was the micro OLED displays. So,
Oh,
and they were supplied by Sony. So Sony gave two micro OLED displays, which are like 8K resolution, something like that. Um, and we're not here to be 100% factual. I mean, we're just two buddies hanging out, talking
yeah.
about the stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, if you want to know the exact figures, you could definitely look up the specs. But there's a lot of other companies too in the mix here. You got Sony Semiconductor, LG, Apple, of course. You got Luxshare, which is like, I believe, the biggest glasses manufacturer. I guess they're making the little lenses that go in there. And then, you got Sony again. You got Samsung, of course, because Apple would not exist without Samsung.
Really?
Well,
Why is
I
that?
mean, they make all the displays for the iPhones, right?
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, Samsung's been making all the displays on all the iPhones since pretty much almost the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, soon though, I heard Apple's looking to hopefully move away from Samsung, and Samsung's
Mm,
kind of worried about their profit because that's a substantial loss. Just think Apple's investing millions on displays in Samsung's OLED department or micro LED displays, whatever they use, but they're going to be losing a lot of money in that department.
wow.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
yeah, I mean, 1,500. I would have much rather spent 1,500 on it than 3,500, but um, Apple will always be Apple.
Now, I saw something online where this guy made a prediction, and he basically said that Apple comes out with this totally unaffordable $3,500 headset that nobody's really going to buy, and so it's sort of like a business technique to get you to think, oh, Apple's like this pretty high quality headset company, and
Yeah.
their headset's pretty good, and so maybe they'll come back in like 4 years with like a $300 one, and so now you think it's really high quality, and so you'll buy it.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I can see how that would work.
I mean,
Um,
I don't really, in the Apple space though, I don't think we'll ever see a headset from Apple that cheap. Because if you think about it, their cheapest iPad is like 300 bucks, right? So,
yeah,
so a whole VR headset, minimum 1,000, I would say. Like if they were to bring out one, I could see them bring out one for like 9.99, you know.
yeah,
But like, yeah, it's Apple we're talking about, so they're always going to inflate everything and then make the price normal, you know.
yeah.
Like when a $500 phone came out, everybody was laughing on the floor like, "What the hell? Apple's trying to sell iPhones for 500 bucks." And now iPhones could cost you as much as $1,500 if you go with like the top spec model.
Yeah.
So, you know, pretty crazy there. But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you have
Uh,
next?
now, did you hear, um, kind of on the same topic of like VR head stuff, now, did you hear about with Elon Musk? He got his first Neuralink patient able to move a computer mouse with his thoughts, and his next step is to be able to get mouse clicks.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I
scary.
saw that one, and that blew my mind. I didn't know they were that far along.
Yeah, it's only
He's,
been a few years since he launched that project.
yeah, I just kind of forgot about it, and now all of a sudden, this.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I mean, I honestly, I don't know the implications long term. Like, imagine imagine that got hacked and then they just know all your personal
Yeah.
information and thoughts, you know.
Yeah. Imagine you're in a government hierarchical society, and you say and you think some sort of treasonous thought, and then they explode your head.
Oh my
Like,
god.
that's crazy to think about.
Honestly, they'll hold people hostage, you know? Send 100 Bitcoin to this address or else die. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, being able to control a mouse with their mind, though, that's kind of scary. Because, like, it
Yeah,
knows where to put it and everything. And, the mouse clicks is the next step. They'll probably be there before we know it.
yeah. Like, how? Like, I don't know anything about it, but like, basically, your brain is a lot of just neural connections, sending and receiving signals, but like, how do you put that into an electrical device and say, I want my brain I want my brain's connection to send it a signal to move a, a computer signal, you know? That's that's wild.
That's scary. That's scary. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't know. That's too far, honestly. I think AI is scary enough, but then adding that in is like We don't need that.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it could help people who are paralyzed or cannot use a computer, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so, you know, it could
It
have
could
some
be good
medical
or
health
bad.
benefits for certain groups of people. But as we know in technology, things that are meant for certain groups of people always end up expanding to other groups of people. And before you know it, it's publicly available, you know?
Yeah.
And I heard they even developed a robot that puts that chip in your brain, so that way, like, a human can't even do it. Like, the robot has to put it in strategically, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, you ever see those lights with all those little fibers? Like
Um,
those
like,
clear wires.
that's
The optic.
fiberglass. Yeah, fiber
Yeah.
optics.
Yeah, fiber optics. That's exactly how the chip works. It puts fiber
Oh,
optics and it inserts it directly in your brain. And then the chip has a computer on it. And it's wireless charging, so you put the little magnet
wow.
there and when you go to bed.
So how fiber optics work is it's it's not like a copper wire at all. A copper wire can send electricity and carry current, but fiber optics, it's basically like glass, and so um, if you step on it, it'll just shatter, and then your entire wire will be broken, and you have to throw the whole thing out. But fiber optics can send data throughout their cables, so I guess if you shatter one in your brain, you're kind of dead.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine it like sends a signal to your brain. I mean, I really hope that the way they're designing it is out like what is it called like not not directional communication. I hope it's only out, if that makes sense. Like you can only send
Yeah,
processes from your brain to the chip, but not from the chip to your brain. Does that make sense? Because like if the chip is able to control your brain, that's not good. But if your brain
no,
can control the chip, I feel like that's a better approach. And I'm not sure how they design it. I haven't really looked into it, but I feel like that would be the best because when it comes to like hacking and bugs and all that, like last thing you want is one line
yeah.
of code to kill someone. You know, that's exactly what would
um,
happen.
on a side note, kind of unrelated. There was one company that made a VR headset that if you fail in the game,
Oh,
it
I heard of
explodes.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my god.
it's
Uh,
just kind of on display somewhere.
yeah. I don't even know why somebody would design that, to be honest. Unless it
Yeah,
was just to get clicks and press. But like, who's gonna use that? You know, like
yeah, it seems a little excessive.
I saw this one series by someone they made, and they basically had a whole like virtual world inside of the VR headset. And in the movie, if you died in the game, you die IRL. So like, it makes sense, you know. Um,
Mm,
but like, definitely not a future I want to live in. I'd be dead
yeah,
so
no.
quick. With my skills, imagine it's Fortnite, you know, I'm dead. Oh, the game lagged. Dead. You know.
I think there's quite a few movies out there that I've seen. I don't remember any of them, but
Yeah, I can't
quite a few
quote it.
movies go with that.
Yeah. Well, and other news. Did you hear Google has their own AI chatbot, kind of like ChatGPT, right? It's called
Yeah.
Gemini, and it's
No,
racist.
I did.
It's
Oh, what?
racist. Yeah, it was asked to spawn in some Viking pictures, and it spawned a series of images of ethnically diverse Vikings, but could not consistently produce images of European ones. Other similar prompts, like attempts to produce images of America's founding fathers or the Pope, produce similarly historically inaccurate results. So yeah, some of those pictures were crazy. Like, let's just show you here. I'll send it over.
What?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was very biased in terms of race.
I don't think I don't think historically there have ever there've never been Vikings like that.
Yeah, and I just don't know what the AI was thinking, you know. A lot of people say they
Oh, this was
programmed it
from
to
your
be
test.
yeah.
Whoa.
A lot of people said that they programmed it to be like bias on race, you know, like it not to
Yeah.
produce a certain race, etc. And I think that's just messed up. But Google, they did shut down the feature. They have an entire department of their company with approximately 100 employees working on fixing it, which is crazy. You know, Google, they're not very good at allocating their resources that well. You know, like they'll literally put like half their company on something just for no reason when one person's going to fix the issue, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't look good for Google because Google was having the best time of their life launching Gemini, competing with ChatGPT, all this different stuff. And then it all came to an end. So, yeah, that's where we're at, though, there.
um my next one is uh it's about credit cards.
Oh,
Capital One is trying to acquire
I heard
Discover.
about this one.
The deal would be for $35 billion all stock, um, which would give it a huge leg up on its competitors in terms of its users. It would be gaining 300 million users, and many consumers worry about violation of antitrust laws.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, every single time a major company acquires another major company, always gonna be, you know, the guy with the red flag waving, you know, saying, "Oh, stop the transaction," you know. But
Yeah,
it's really just noise because at the end of the day, these companies are gonna get what they want and they're gonna merge. You know, like there's no stopping it really. But is this good for Discover? I don't know. You know, I mean, Discover's always been a good
yeah.
company. That's actually like not sponsored. That's who I use for banking.
That's who I use too. That's crazy.
Yeah, I use them for banking, and I also have the Discover It card, and both of them are very good. And you know, sometimes I needed help from Discover, and I'd call them up, and they instantly answer. You know, there's not like a whole menu like press one for this, press two for that. Like you just
Oh,
call them
that's
up,
nice.
and they help you. You know, and that's what I've always
Yeah.
liked about Discover because other companies, no offense, but they'll have like an Indian guy on the phone, you know? Like,
Oh yeah, third party.
I mean, some of them are very, very nice people, but you know, at the same time, you got these third parties that aren't really properly trained, you know, and you're
Plus,
not really able to
there's
understand what they're saying completely because their
yeah, there's sort of a
microphones
language
and
barrier.
yeah, and the call center's different and everything, and then you got
Yeah.
the lag with the phone, and you know that's why I appreciate Discover. They really put a lot of money into like customer service, helping people out. I think that's very valuable, and I'm happy about that. But now being acquired by Capital One, who, by the way, I don't know if I ever told you, but I cut up all my Capital One cards. um
Oh, I saw that. I did see that.
yeah, yeah, because they falsely closed my account. Since then, though, I was able to actually revert that decision, and I got a new card with them now. So, you know, we're kind
uh,
of on okay terms now. But Capital One is a weird company. Like they're just, I don't know, they're weird. But they're also one of the banks that always provide credit to people who really probably are the least responsible or the least amount of credit score.
Uh,
Like
that
Capital
is
One will
a
approve you
positive.
if you have 400 credit score,
Yeah,
and like it's good for people who really want to rebuild their credit and help themselves out financially. But yeah, I mean, Discover's kind of the same, it's kind of up their alley kind of like with Discover I had the same situation actually where Discover was my first card and it was pretty easy to get it because they have secured card options, non-secured student cards, all that stuff. So if you need a card, you could use it, and they have great banking options. But now being a part of Capital One, I don't know, what's going to change? Are they going to change the company's name? Are they going to just remain independent? Are they going to invest more into different products?
yeah.
What's going to happen next?
If they do acquire Discover, I think it'd just be acquiring Discover, and it'd just still be Capital One, unfortunately.
Really? Like, do you think they're going to change the name of the company or?
No. I think Discover would still exist, um, but we as Discover users would now be Capital One users.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I like it might be similar to what happened with Ameritrade and Charles Schwab. Like all of the Ameritrade users had to migrate over to Schwab accounts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Maybe something similar to that.
you might have to log in with a Capital One account. Who knows? I mean, one unique thing about Discover though, like all the other credit card companies like Visa, MasterCard, stuff like that. Well,
Yeah.
Discover uses Discover. They have their entire own payment processing network, and that's actually how they make a lot of their money. Um, so that's a really unique feature because Capital One uses like Visa and MasterCard for their cards. So for Discover to be using their own network is a very valuable asset.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it really shapes out. Like, who knows? Capital One might start using the Discover transaction network. You never know because Discover's accepted at a lot of places, and you know how they make money is they'll actually charge merchants like 2 to 3% fees. And imagine Capital One, one of the biggest credit card banks, were just like, hey, we're changing all the Capital One cards to Discover. Now Capital One's going to be making an extra 2 to 3% on every single purchase. That could be a genius decision if they decide to go that route. But it would
Yeah.
also be bad for some customers because if you're international, Discover doesn't work in other countries. So,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, it works, but it depends, it depends on the place. It's not as broadly accepted as some other payment methods. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what their plan is. But
Yeah.
that's an interesting deal that they're trying to make, especially when Capital One is right now. I know this is kind of unrelated, but it's kind of on the same topic. Capital One is pulling away from auto loans. They actually
Oh.
put a huge push in financing vehicles, and they have a whole website and everything where you could finance it, get
Yeah.
pre-approved, pick it out, all that stuff. Now they're actually stepping back a little bit because they have a lot of repossessions of cars, repos,
Oh. Yikes.
basically, and that hasn't been good for that side of the business. On their
Yeah.
balance sheet, they've been losing a lot of money. because people aren't paying off their car loan. So,
Kind of backfiring.
yeah, and they
Well,
kind
what do
of
you mean
lend
by
it to too
stepping
many
back?
people. Well, they're downscaling that department. They're not going to be financing cars as much. And I heard they're
Oh,
actually charging dealers a lot more money to use that service to finance. And they're also increasing the requirements. So, like before, you only had to be like a 600 credit score. Now you need like
yeah.
650, and that could be a big difference for some people, you know?
Yeah, especially
So,
since they're catering to the lower end for their cards,
yeah,
like you said
exactly.
before.
Exactly. So, it's interesting to see how that all pans out because they've been losing a lot of money, but at the same time, they're making this huge deal happen. And, you know, maybe it'll be good for the future of the company. And also, I've noticed Discover hasn't came out with any new products really in the past few years, like no new credit card offerings or anything. So I feel like Discover was kind of preparing themselves for a sale. That's what I heard from internal sources actually on the news. They said about how Discover's been kind of at a
Really?
stalemate for the past few years because they didn't want to expand into new offerings as much. So maybe they were just ready for Capital One to scoop them up.
Yeah, I didn't think they were struggling though, in
Well,
order to need a
oh, well,
purchasing.
Discover's not struggling, but they were more so just staying at a steady pace. You know what I mean? Like they weren't expanding, they
Yeah,
weren't contracting, they were kind of maintaining stability, you know?
yeah. When that curve flattens out, things get stale.
Yeah, like the traction of growth has slowed down a little bit, for the company. Um, Maybe Capital One will push some new life into it. Who knows?
Big changes.
Yeah, big changes indeed. But speaking of big changes, I got a pretty funny story you probably have not heard.
Let's
Um,
hear it.
Barbie's hot pink flip phone is coming to the real world this summer.
Oh, is it like
Yep.
a classic flip phone or like a touch flip
Uh,
phone? Or I never saw Barbie, so
well,
or like a
it's
toy
pretty much
Barbie.
based on the actual phone. I'm not sure exactly if it's going to be like touchscreen or just basic, but what I do know is it's designed and made by Nokia, and they partnered with HMD and Mattel at MWC. MWC is the Mattel Conference, I think. Mattel World Conference, something like that. Or Mobile World Congress. Oh my god. So it has nothing to do with Mattel. I'm glad I corrected that. But in one of these events in Barcelona, Spain, they announced that this is the next phone they're going to be designing. It's going to be pink with a dash of sparkle. And yeah, they partnered up with Mattel to design the official Barbie flip phone. And it's going to be style, nostalgia, and much needed digital detox. So I'm guessing it's not going to have, TikTok and YouTube and stuff. It's going to be like a basic
uh,
phone that's pink and has some sparkle in it. And it's probably going to get very popular because who knows? Who knows why?
yeah,
But, that's pretty funny, honestly. Like, they're investing into that, but maybe they see some money there,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, all the little girls would like buying that, I'd bet.
Oh my god. Yeah. How do you know if they're little though?
Hey, who would buy that? Like, I mean, I guess older woman would buy that
Yeah.
as like a collector's item, but like not to use. Probably no one would buy it to use, for being honest.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, I don't know. It really depends, but all in all, pretty cool, I guess, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
they probably thought they could make some money. Um, so,
especially with how big a hit the Barbie movie was.
oh yeah,
That
that
was
movie won so many
huge last
rewards.
year.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah. Now, on another note, um, unfortunately, the inventor of Pop Darts has died at the age of 96.
Really?
Yes, his creation has been distributed billions of times, and I think he's influenced a large portion of the world.
Wait. What is Pop Dart?
Pop Tart?
Oh, Pop Tart. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait a minute. You're kidding.
I'm not.
So, the person who made Pop Tarts.
Invented them, yes.
Wow. They're dead, huh? That's kind of sad, you know? They made America's most unhealthy snack. But it's also good,
I
you know?
mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if society would still exist without Pop Tarts. Who knows?
We would have never made it past 2000 without Pop Tarts.
Yeah, the pop culture craze.
Yeah. Important
Ah,
piece of history.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, they have a lot of flavors now, way more than they used to.
Yeah, we
Pretty
got like
crazy.
s'mores, we got like rainbow cake something, I don't even know.
Yeah,
It's been like years since I had a Pop Tart. It's probably for the better, you know.
yeah. You don't want that corn syrup and sugar and all
Yeah.
that stuff. We'll have cancer someday. So, well, speaking of annoying things, Windows 11 is actually, well, every single time that it updates, right? Like,
Yeah.
when you go to shut down the computer, it'll say reboot and update, right?
Yeah.
Windows 11's latest feature is going to be eliminating reboots for OS updates.
Oh, why would they do that?
So basically, with this new protocol they're using, which is used in the Xbox, you will no longer need to reboot the computer if you're updating it. That's pretty good, honestly. Um, what do you think?
I mean, if it works, it works. That that doesn't make sense in my mind. Like, how would that even work? But
Yeah, I
if it
mean,
works, it'd be pretty useful.
it's only for security updates, though. It's not for major updates that like change a lot of stuff in the computer. Um, it's called hot patching. So basically, whenever there's like a security fix or something, the Windows will actually update the OS, without having to like do a whole reboot and everything. It'll add the code
Yeah.
live. And you know what it's really going to help people for though? Not just, personal use. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much for people like us who just use the computer, you know? Like we
Yeah.
don't mind a reboot, But where this is going to really help is IT departments and computers in like schools and having workloads on them. Because if you think about it,
Oh
IT
yeah.
companies, they don't want to have to reboot the computers and all that just to have a patch. They want something simple, right? They don't
Yeah.
want to have to go through this whole process. And that's actually what hot patching's for. So basically, if you're like a school, you don't have to go through the whole process of rebooting all those computers that haven't been rebooted in 20 years, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you could just automatically have all these latest security features. And, some IT departments actually disable updates simply because they reboot the computer. And that actually weakens security if you think about it. Because if you turn off auto updating, then you're going to be more prone to attacks. And this is going to increase security in a lot of IT fleets that use Windows 11. And I mean, while that number's not that high right now, it's going to get up there eventually. And having the latest security is very important.
That makes sense because like there's that for the schools and like especially like people just that don't know how to do tech just complaining like, oh no, an update, and it just takes like an hour, like, and it happens right at the most inconvenient time.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
I could I could definitely see.
And then they keep putting it off and
Possi
putting it off, and
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how a lot of these fleets work. But with this new feature, it's going to be a lot more simple, I would say, to update, get the latest security patch. Um, and then also, you have to think 90% of Windows updates are security patches. Like not every single update
Yeah.
is adding a new feature. So it's pretty great. You'll have a lot less annoyance pretty much.
Yeah.
I do wonder though
No
how
ease.
that's going to impact performance while you're on the computer, because I would assume that hot patching is going to use up some CPU.
Yeah, like if you're using like all of your RAM and computer focus, like if you have 20 tabs open on just
Me.
like a crappy crappy work desktop or whatever, and then all of a sudden it updates, then you click to a new tab and it takes and you lose all your frames. You're down to like 5 frames a second.
Yeah, and then the whole thing crashes. Oh my god, I feel like some of those older computers cannot support hot patching because it doesn't have that fast components in it, you
Yeah,
know? So that's also a worry to think of.
yeah. Um, my next topic is um sort of political, but not too much. Did you hear Greece is the first Orthodox country to legalize same-sex marriage? And there's some pretty large protests about that since it's an Orthodox country.
Really? Wait, how did they
Yeah,
even get that passed?
I don't know.
In an Orthodox country?
Yeah,
I mean, that's great news for human rights and equality,
yeah,
but it's also weird, in an Orthodox
yeah,
country. I mean, I could definitely see the protests happening, but hopefully these protests don't discourage lawmakers. They were just trying to do
yeah.
the right thing.
They have their fair share of protests, but it looks like they were able to get it through.
Wow, that's
Um,
surprising.
I think I also read they will not allow males to reproduce or something, but the marriage
What?
part is allowed.
They won't allow males to reproduce. What does that mean?
Like not have a kid or something.
Oh, so you can't like adopt?
Yeah. No, like get a kid.
Oh, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's interesting. I mean, I never really looked
Yeah.
into it, but that is interesting. You're cutting out a little bit, by the way.
My Wi-Fi is
Bad.
a little bit bad. Yeah.
Oh no. You sound better now, though.
It's better.
Oh, good. Well,
What's next?
I have this topic here that is gonna change your entire world view, pretty much.
Send
Um,
it.
well, it says, "Don't put your wet iPhones in rice bags," and that comes from Apple.
Oh.
Because everybody, when you get your phone wet, everybody always says, put your iPhone, or even any phone for that matter, into rice. And that'll dry up the water and the phone won't get damaged, right?
Yeah.
Well, we always relied on a bag of ice to save our iPhones, and now Apple confirmed in a 2024 support document explicitly advising against using rice to dry out your phone. The document states that doing so could allow small particles of rice to damage your iPhone. What do you think?
I mean, in reality, the rice trick only works for like old electronics or like a battery or something. Like it's not meant for your iPhone. Like the rice trick was introduced and like it works. Like the people have used it and it works, but not like it won't really do anything for your iPhone. So
Yeah,
I'm
other than
surprised people
maybe
even tried it on their phone.
yeah, I mean, maybe other than like getting a speck of rice into your charger port, I mean, that's definitely
I
possible.
I think they mean like the particles on the rice would get in
Get
and damage it.
inside?
Yeah,
How? Like little
I
baby
don't really know
particles
anything.
or
Oh yeah, like stuff you can't see because rice is kind of dusty.
oh, true. And that dust could get in the speaker grill
Yeah.
or anywhere really. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. What's your next topic?
This one's kind of sad.
Oh no.
um, Pretty recently, a U.S. airman self-immolated in front of the
Oh.
Israeli embassy because
Oh
he
my
did
god.
not want to be complicit in genocide.
I saw that. I saw that clip. Oh my god, that was. Thankfully, the clip I saw was blurred.
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't gonna search up the real video that someone put it on Twitter.
did you see the blurred one?
I know. I wasn't gonna look it up. I saw like an
Oh,
image of like some cops around the scene, but
yeah. Yeah, he had a whole water bottle full of gas. Um, I think it was gas or probably gas, and he poured it all over
yeah,
himself and lit up. Within seconds, he was in a fireball.
Like, at least he didn't like try to hurt anyone else. But it's pretty sad, and usually something like that is meant to like
Yeah.
really get people aware. And like the comments I read were um, like there were people living during the time of the Holocaust and the Geneva Convention, and it's basically the same right now. Like we're just living nonchalantly with the genocide happening. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I at least he didn't take like a bomb and suicide bomb, you know?
Yeah.
And but
I
like,
mean, yeah.
yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. I don't understand why people do that stuff, but I I guess that's just their way of giving a message, I guess, right?
Well, the thought is, if I do this horrible act, then many people will take up arms, and like hopefully, if I go and do this horrible, unspeakable thing, everyone will feel bad about it and take up arms. But I, I don't really think it works 90% of the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like
Well,
instead of throwing your life away, just go and do something about it. But
yeah.
probably not much he could do.
Hey, that's why we need to really, I think, focus more on mental health in America, you know?
Yeah,
Because things like that go undetected for so long. And, people do horrible things. It could have been worse.
yeah.
But
What do you have next?
I have the topic that isn't really meant for PC gamers. So if you're a PC gamer, you might not like to hear this. But this is pretty cool. The PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out later this year. Very likely.
Oh,
Yeah. Ahead of GTA 6, as it says in my notes. And it would also launch ahead of the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 in 2025, which is expected to significantly boost console game sales. Sony has yet to comment to IGN. So I was looking at this and speculating a little, and it makes sense. I think one of the game titles that's going to be the most popular on PlayStation 5 Pro would be GTA 6. And that's because I heard that Rockstar
yeah,
is working on a special version of the game that is higher quality, better graphics, specifically for the Pro version of the console, which makes sense. They might even sell bundles with the game, and those will sell like hotcakes, honestly. Um,
yeah,
Sony and Rockstar have always had this very tight knit relationship. At one point, Sony was going to buy the parent company of Rockstar Games. And I guess those rumors were kind of thrown out now. But, they have a good relationship with each other. And I could definitely see them making an even more detailed version of the game for the Pro console. And the Pro Edition is expected to be the most advanced console, the fastest console, highest FPS, most details. And we don't really know much about the design yet, but we could figure it's gonna have a similar design to the current console, maybe a lot bigger though. But it'll be interesting, and I think if you aren't a PC player, picking up the PS5 Pro is your best bet going into the holiday season at the end of this year, because if you're looking to play new games, next generation games coming out in 2025, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and buy that.
Yeah, do you remember when the PS5 came out? Just off the top of your head?
I think 2020, right?
I don't remember. If it was 2020, that
2021,
sounds
actually.
about. Oh, really?
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been
So
3 years.
that's actually perfect. So if it was like if it was a different year, that'd sound crazy. So PlayStation comes out with their new console every 7 years, and since it was 2021, that's just perfect for the Pro to come out because that's when the PS4 Pro came out at the 3.5 year mark. So that's actually really nice that they're on schedule with the PS5.
Yeah, and it's basically, like you said, the same launch schedule, really. I mean, they already launched the PS5 Slim, which is
Yeah.
considerably smaller, and it's actually replaced the original console sales, so you can no longer buy the original, just the Slim.
Oh.
So I think whenever the Slim comes out is always a sign that, hey, let's give you a little smaller version and then let's make a huge version again. So, I'm expecting the new version to be at least double the size. It's supposed to have much bigger graphics card in it. Um, and I like PlayStation. I think they're a very solid company. Xbox has a lot of kinks to work out, in my opinion. Their roadmap isn't that good.
Yeah.
If you're an investor, I'm not a big fan of the roadmap that they're currently aiming towards. Their roadmap actually got leaked.
For
Um,
Xbox?
yeah, their 10-year plan
Oh.
was leaked a few months ago. Literally, the next 10 years of their plans was all leaked. And they're actually planning on making a trash can console next. So it literally is just a round
Oh.
console, and it has no DVD slot or anything. They're completely
Oh.
phasing out physical games. Um,
Uh.
yeah, and they're actually going to be coming out with a cloud version of the Xbox. That's a little stick that plugs into your TV like the Fire Stick. So, I mean, if you're an investor right now well, I guess, I'm not going to say that because Xbox is a part of Microsoft, and Microsoft's a pretty stable company. I'm an investor in them. But if you're investing in Microsoft specifically for Xbox, you're not going to be happy. But if
Yeah.
if you care about AI and developments, Microsoft's still a stable company to invest in my opinion. Um, but like other than that, watch out.
Yeah. Now, someone came up to me and directly said, Microsoft is getting rid of the Xbox, and I don't think I believe that. Like, he just said they're completely dropping the Xbox because their sales aren't up to par.
Well, they are dropping the idea of the Xbox, making it into something more cloud gaming. Like that's their
Mm.
plan, to turn Xbox into a cloud gaming company, not a hardware company. I think that's a mistake, because
Oh, yeah.
not everybody across America has fiber connections.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and like if you really like want to have um mobile, like if you want to have cloud gaming, you're really going to need a fast internet connection. Otherwise, you're kind of gonna have a bad experience. And for
Yeah.
Xbox to think that it's ready, it's the time to make it exclusively cloud gaming. That's probably just the corporation messing up, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and sure, with AI, we could post process a lot better. We could pre-process the games, if anything, right? We can make the connection more stable, but there's only so much you could do. It's still going to feel like cloud gaming. So you always need physical hardware, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
what's on your agenda next?
I skipped one. But the day after Valentine's Day, February 15th, Japan went into a recession.
Really?
Yeah. Their economy has always been not the best because like investors and money people just wouldn't put money in, and they just had to go into a recession.
Wow, that's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your opinion on it though? Like, do you think this is going to be? How long do you think it's going to last?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe how long do recessions last? I can't accurately say.
Maybe like 3, 4 years.
Ah,
So I have a topic that's pretty interesting. Have you ever used
go
Tinder?
on. No comment.
Well, you're pretty much screwed now because Tinder is going to start requiring video selfies to verify user IDs. Um,
Huh?
yeah, Tinder said Tuesday it plans to expand its ID verification requirements, including one that asks users to submit a video selfie. As crime on dating apps rises and artificial intelligence makes it harder to tell who is real. In response, the new system checks the birth date and whether the face on the video matches the profile pictures and ID. So, on top of all this, you need your driver license, video selfie, and an actual picture of you. So, there's a lot of steps they're adding now.
Why does that? Why does that screw with the users?
I mean, there's a lot of users on the platform who probably aren't doing this process, and
Yeah.
and that really affects the whole platform, I mean, you see a lot of people on there and a lot of them are just scammers these days. Not saying that I
Yeah.
know, but do you think it's good though that there's an uprise in ID technology?
mm, it could be beneficial. Every new thing they add, oh, we're adding this new feature. It has both positive and negative effects, and if we may not see the negative effects, we will definitely see them down the road because it online dating is kind of a mess right now, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's it's insane though with the amount of AI and all that infiltrating. Before you know it, you'll have an AI girlfriend and boyfriend.
Oh, I have something for that. So back to
Really?
Japan. Basically, Japan is not having a good time with their dating. A lot of the males are shifting over to like online girlfriends and
Whoa.
AI and stuff because
Why?
they don't want to go out and interact, I guess. But
Oh, I mean, I heard
Um,
introverts
you
are popular in Japan, right?
yeah,
Good
but
place to be.
honestly, if the U.S. continues down what's happening, we could definitely face a future like that, like
Yeah,
on
that's
like like Blade Runner, if you've seen the new one with
yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Wow, that's kind of scary though.
a bit, yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's not going to be like that in all parts of the world, but I feel like that definitely hurts birth rates.
Oh
If people
yeah,
aren't having families and breeding, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I do know one thing.
What?
OpenAI is planning to end video media as we know it. Um,
What?
yep. So they created this new tool called Sora, and 11 Labs as well as a part of this. The evolution of video and audio entertainment took us from bards and roving entertainers to fixed plays supplemented by radio theater. Not only will AI technology make movies like Tiger Lily much easier to create, but the images of the actors can also be changed so their actions and movements are more in line with the new dialogue. You can completely change a movie with just directions instead of reshooting it. I expect content created by AI without live actors would be easier to alter than more traditional content, given the digital nature of the source. I don't know.
Eh, I'm not sure if I like the idea of a movie being mostly AI,
Me neither. No, I'm not a big fan of it either.
especially since it's so hard to tell the difference.
I mean, did you see some of the videos that are made by Sora?
No.
Oh my god, I need to
I
show
mean,
you. I
I
mean,
mean, there's CGI, and
yeah.
that's computer generated. It's not like, but like humans have to actively create that and spend a lot of time on that. And there's like good and bad CGI.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
like, if we can get to a good AI, then there's definitely going to be a bad AI.
Oh yeah.
It's just
I'm
how you
scared for that.
implement it.
I'm scared for that a lot. You see the video I sent you?
I'm watching it. Like it looks real, but something about the face and their skin's not moving right.
Oh,
Like
the golden
AI,
retrievers.
yeah, AI really blends things. Like if you look at really bad AI, there's just like combination of limbs,
Yeah.
and I don't like that. Like it's just trying to convince your brain that it's real.
Yeah. I mean, think about it though. A lot of these issues will be fixed, with time.
Yeah,
I mean, look at how far we've come.
yeah.
I mean, look at the one with the waves. You see that one?
The boats.
In Big Sur.
Oh, the waves. Um, no, that's a real video.
No, that's AI. AI drone shots. You know what I heard though? I
What?
heard that something that it'll impact first, which I believe, stock images, right? Stock images and stock videos. Lots of companies pay for licenses to have little clips of like the city or New York City or something in their video. This AI can completely replace that, you know? You could just have stock
Oh,
video all AI generated. Because right now there's no sound, you know? Give it another 10,
yeah.
20 years, there'll be sound and everything, and That's scary. That is, and I fear for the whole filmmaking industry. I hope that it gets like regulated, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
of course they're gonna go the cheap route, as cheap
yeah.
as they can be.
Tyler Perry stopped his expansion of his studio because of AI. Which I
Oh,
don't I
really?
don't think that was a good move, but when he does it, the whole industry follows.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with all my topics. You want to finish up yours?
I got a few more, or I could just save them.
Honestly, if
Um,
you wanted, you could just say whatever one you want to say the most, and then we'll wrap it up.
um, this one's the biggest out of all of them. So the plastic industry completely lied about recycling. Um, so that some docs were released that show that the plastics and oil industry that are leading the recycling industry right now, um, uh, they knew from the start that it would fail on a large scale to recycle and that it wouldn't be sustainable.
Really?
Yeah, and they went through with it.
That is
And
not
so
good.
there's tons of plastic going into waste.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of this stuff is just being lied to us, you know, throughout all these years, you know. We
Oh,
try to
yeah.
solve one issue and then another issue pops up, and once we think that we solved that, then another issue comes up. It's like a never-ending fight, really, you know?
Yeah, it's so much so much hidden agendas just to make the money, hide the negative effects of your industry, your business, and that
Yeah.
greedy money.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah, I'm sad for our future generations ahead of us. It's gonna be scary for them, you know, to have to sort out all
Yeah.
these issues that we created, you know.
Yeah. And is a lot of it is just cleaning up and like there's we just haven't been doing a lot of future prevention.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad, but nothing we can do about it, I guess.
I think that's it for my end.
Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, I just want to thank the audience for sticking through this whole episode, honestly. And um, I appreciate everybody tuning into the first episode, the pilot episode of our podcast here. We're definitely going to be making some improvements, some tweaks here and there. We're going to learn where we went wrong. And, you know, Jupe is going to be coming back, or Josh, as we
I will
formerly
have
call
a
him.
better microphone for episode 1.
Yeah,
Episode 2.
that'll be perfect. And you won't sound like you're coming through an Xbox 360 mic anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe well, eventually I'll get Sora to replace your voice. But I'm joking.
You're gonna replace my voice with AI talking
Yeah.
to Chat GPTs.
Hey, it's cheaper, even though I'm not paying anything. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, add us to your library, and share us to all of your friends and family. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, audience.